All right, so I think there's a lot of concepts to organizational behavior that you can use to effectively boost yourself and your either your career, your everyday life. But I think that organizational behavior ultimately provides you with a set of skills that essentially sets you for life. So I think understanding the basics first and foremost is one of the most important things. Meaning familiarizing yourself with key concepts, things like motivation, productivity, leadership, and leadership dynamics, being able to effectively communicate and recognize certain types of organizational structures and organizational cultures. Firstly, I think it's important to be able to assess the situation by conducting thorough analysis. Basically, if you see a problem in an organization or you see a problem with some form of relationship with somebody, to kind of assess what the problem is and use that opportunity to um, basically go through the trial and become stronger on how to deal with the next situation, if that makes sense. So I think that actually leads into what I believe is also important, which is developing effective strategies. So organizational behavior is key in developing strategies to solve those different types of problems. For example, if communication is the problem, and let's say you're not effectively communicating with somebody, I think it's really important to be able to develop that skill, which kind of leads into what the importance of soft and hard skills are. So obviously you have hard skills, which is going to be things like more specific to more specific to the individual. So like if you're really good at, let's say, dealing with technology, right? So that's a hard skill. Then you have something called soft skills, which is going to be more of the communicative aspect or the social interaction. So I think organizational behavior is really important when it comes to identifying certain soft skills and developing those. The cool thing about soft skills is it's not something that you're born with. It's something that you can develop over time. I do think that's also the case for hard skills, but I think that overall organizational behavior allows you to further strengthen and develop and apply those different types of hard and or soft skills. Another example, I guess, if something's going wrong is, let's say there's a dispute, right? So this could be the case for your work life. This could be the case for just outside of work, like maybe something going on within your family, your friendships, some form of dispute. I think organizational behavior is actually really good, especially in this chapter. It's actually really good for basically training you on how to deal with those situations, effectively communicate, and resolve or come to a resolution for whatever that disagreement may be. And I think that kind of developing more of those type of skills is really good for just your everyday life, the career. I think being able to implement change, right? So recognizing something that needs to be changed, I think that's also really important. So things like restructuring teams, restructuring probably even just the politics. So like I guess the book kind of describes politics or some specific applications of politics being, let's say, an organization is going in the wrong direction. And what you could do is, if you recognize it going in the wrong direction, you can then kind of oppose the direction that an organization is going and basically try to guide them in the right direction. So that's also really important because not only is that applicable for an organization, but that's also applicable in life. So let's say you have a family or a friend who is kind of going in the wrong direction personally, and you can recognize that. Especially if you're a Christ follower, what you can do is you can then kind of use your faith as a guideline for being able to give them educated advice and biblical advice on how to kind of just make the right decisions. And I think that it's beneficial not just for your working relationship or your familial or friendship relationship with that individual, whatever it may be, but I think it's actually just really good to help them excel as an individual. I think it's important to be able to monitor and evaluate certain situations, such as the impact of changes. Once you recognize those impact of the changes, then you can evaluate whether or not that change is good and whether or not you should implement more changes into whatever that field might be. I think one other thing that is really, really key that organizational behavior has taught me is being able to adapt to the change, or kind of like just being able to adjust. So if you notice something is going a certain way and it's different than what you're used to, organizational behavior will prime you for being able to adapt to that different type of change. So yeah, those are just some things that I was thinking about.